Who's a conservative that I should react to? I've done a lot of Guys, I just remembered. I'm so excited. Today's Monday. You know what that means? PragerU posted a new video. PragerU posted a new video. Ben Shapiro posted a spiel about masculinity this morning. And yeah, I did see that, but I already covered the same thing just from Candace Owens. Yes. Okay, guys. I forgot about this video, and it has been on my mind all weekend. All right. Let's see here. Oh, it's even in my recommended. YouTube knows. YouTube knows now that I watch PragerU, that I am becoming radicalized down the alt-right pipeline. It's true. They make so many good points with their big brains. All right, guys. I'm ready. I'm ready to get hit with facts and logic, okay? Okay. Getting back to the screen. I have a palette cleanser for this. Okay, awesome. All right, Jack Ark. True. Time for me to go full Destiny.
I've been training to be a championship sprinter since I was 8 years old. With the help of my parents, my
Wait.
coaches.
Selena Sewell? Okay, she's a high schooler. Let me just, why should I care what this Selena Sewell says? Let's find out who she is, first off. Okay. Wait, who are these people? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, just a second, guys. All right. So, um, Selena Sewell is represented by an organization called the Alliance Defending Freedom. Okay. Now, I didn't realize that this is where this was going, but for those of you who aren't aware what the Southern Poverty Law Center is, it's basically the group in the United States that's like, hey, this group out there is a you know, they're a hate group. Yes, ANCOM, SciComm. Also, first time I believe I've seen you in here. Welcome. I hope you have a great time. But yeah, founded by some 30 leaders of the Christian right. Good night, you have a good time, okay? I love you very much. Is a legal advocacy and training group that has supported the recriminalization of sexual acts between consenting LGBTQ adults in the United States and criminalizing abroad. Has defended state-sanctioned sterilization of trans people abroad. Has contended that LGBTQ people are more likely to engage in pedophilia, and claims that a homosexual agenda will destroy Christianity and society. ADF works to develop religious liberty legislation and case law that will allow the denial of goods and services to LGBTQ people on the basis of religion. Since the election of President Trump, ADF has become one of the most influential groups informing the administration's attack on LGBTQ rights. All right. Yeah. You know, super cool stuff, like making it a crime to be gay. Yeah, super awesome. founded in 1994. In its own words, allowing males to compete in the female category isn't fair and destroys girls' athletic opportunities. Males will always have an inherent physical advantage over comparably trained, talented, and trained girls. That's the reason we have girls' sports in the first place. And a male's belief about his gender doesn't eliminate those advantages. ADF legal counsel Christina Holcomb, referring to trans female athletes as male in ADF news release in 2019. Men who self-identify as women are still biologically men. Sure, they can take synthetic hormones to make themselves appear more feminine, style their hair and wear makeup, or not. But being a woman is more than a physical appearance or a feeling. It is a biological reality, and no amount of wishing it or desiring will ever change the fact that a feminized man will never truly experience what it is to be a woman. Super cool. Super cool. The endgame of the homosexual agenda is unfettered sexual liberty and the silencing of all dissent. I'm sorry, I thought that we lived in America. I thought we lived in America, where unfettered sexual liberty was probably something that would fall under our right to life and liberty? No? The only surprise is the rapid degradation of our human dignity has occurred. It has occurred with raging effect, and within 12 months on the heels of government-mandated recognition of same-sex marriage, an oxymoronic institution, if ever there was one. And, for its radical adherence, this has led to a deification of deviant sexual practices. It has further resulted in the inevitable and aggressive persecution of devout Christians who refuse to bow to the false god of sexual license. Yeah, so they keep going on for a while like this. Super cool stuff that they got going on here. So, Selena Sewell is a product of that organization. She's not coming from a, let's say, unbiased or non-judgmental position, okay? Here we go.
I've been training to be a championship sprinter since I was 8 years old. With the help of my parents, my coaches, and my teammates, I did it. By sophomore year of high school, in 2018, I was one of the top 5 female high school sprinters in Connecticut. But then, one day, I wasn't. At the state championships
Oh no! One day she wasn't in the top 5 sprinters anymore. Oh no! What a horrible crime that an athlete was no longer at the top of their game. Notice how she wasn't even the number 1 sprinter. She was in the top 5. And obviously, I guess from this story, it implies that she was the fifth most good sprinter. And yeah, I know you can get scholarships for being good at sprinting as a woman, but clearly, since she wasn't like the top one, she was the 5th one. Because one day she wasn't. Let's hear the rest of the story.
that year, 2 people passed me, passed all of us girls. Literally. They finished first and second in our races, dominating the field. Were they more motivated? Did they train harder? I don't think so. But they did have an edge, a big one we couldn't match.
Wait. You're just a spiteful person who lost a race. How do you know how motivated these people were or how hard they trained? That seems like not something you would have insight into. Maybe if you were like the coach or like some sort of expert on this instead of like one of the jilted sprinters.
They were biological boys who said they were transgender girls. Do you think that's fair? Males competing against females?
Fuck. Again, William of Orange. You're being super kind of transphobic, but again, I've explained the science to you before. Once you've been on hormones for a specified period of time, designated by the sports leagues, you lose the advantages of having been like going through like a puberty or whatever. Let's not live in your pretend land where like apparently you somehow know more than the scientists who helped craft this legislation. Let's not live in this pretend land where like you clearly don't understand the science that's going on here, because I'm not being transphobic when we talked about science. No, we're talking about the Fallon Fox. I remembered. You got your shit removed plus 2 years. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Chad the friendly dog. Thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, I don't like. Okay, I guess let's hear about it. But from her story, it doesn't sound like she's in a really good position to know what their position was when it comes to HRT. That hasn't been part of the story yet. So why are you assuming that they're running based on like what? Why are you assuming about this story that they haven't been on hormones for a long enough period of time? I've been wondering about this relative to losing advantages. For example, do men who transition to women and take hormones for the time periods required actually lose bone density? Yes. You lose some bone density, and you also lose a lot of muscle mass. Yes. If you have typical testosterone levels for a woman after about 2 years, all the extra muscle mass, red blood cell count, men tend to, yeah, exactly. I do have a question though. If they're on HRT and they're in high school, does that mean they benefited from having gone through their first puberty, especially if they're sophomores in high school? Because you realize, like, the testosterone production doesn't really occur until you hit puberty, right? So, like, a lot of this is questions about how you treat it around puberty. If they're on HRT and the doctors say they can compete, which clearly they did in this case, I have no problem with it. Yeah, you're talking about a completely different case. And also, again, when it comes to Fallon Fox, let's take a look. Just a sec. Let's see. Wow. When it comes to Fallon Fox, she has 5 total wins and 1 loss. So it seems like she's just a pretty good fighter. It sounds like the people who got beat by her are just really salty transphobes. I don't know. She had all of the medical experts clear her for participating in this league, and that's what makes me kind of go, it's pretty yikesy for you to bring this up. Pretty yikesy. No, you do not have to have testicular removal to block testosterone production. True. We don't know the facts. Agreed. Oh, I picked a great time to walk in. Hello, Lady Raincloud. When 2 transgender athletes suddenly crush everyone, it is reasonable to expect they had an unfair biological advantage, unless you prove they made it fair. I don't have to prove that they made it fair. You have to prove that their regulations are unfair, William of Orange. Yeah. You have to prove that the regulations they put in place are unfair. Yeah, no, it is yikesy because Fallon Fox doesn't have, like, an overwhelming advantage on her record. She has 5 wins and 1 loss. This is a pretty normal MMA style thing to do if you're a top-class fighter, yeah. Again, that's not proof. What you are listing is not proof. What you are listing is anecdotal evidence, whereas their guidelines are largely based on what medical experts say. That's the issue. So if you have a problem with their medical guidelines for competition in sports, you have to prove to me that those are unfair. Now we're going to watch the rest of this video. Yeah, but we're not talking about men performing better than women, are we, William of Orange? We're talking about trans women and cis women. Like, that's what we're talking about. So, yes, it's true men perform better than women on average. It's also true that trans women and women do not tend to overperform women in sports.
Before you make up your mind, let me tell you a bit about what it took for me to become a top female sprinter.
Again, clearly not a top enough female sprinter, but, you know, whatever. She's salty. It's fine.
It meant training with my team every day after school for at least 2 hours, working to shave fractions of a second off of my time in the 100 and 200 meter dash. It meant not hanging out after school or going out with friends on the weekends. It meant...
Where? Do you guys remember? Let's see. You just bring this up. Oh, God damn it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's bring this up. Why Michael Phelps has a perfect body for swimming. Do you guys remember?
Getting up...
Oh, God damn it. All right. There we go. All right. Do you guys remember this? Michael Phelps. Most gold medals of any American athlete ever. You guys remember that? Do you guys remember how they geeked out over his extra long torso and flipper-like feet, and his ability for his muscles to withstand more lactic acid than other athletes? Guys, do you remember that? Do you remember how no one said he had unfair advantages? This is what physical competition does. You put people who have differing abilities in competition with one another. I don't understand how this is any different when it comes to trans women in sports, especially if they are, for all intents and purposes, of the same hormone levels as cis women. I don't think that this is a huge problem. I also don't think that people like Caster Semenya, who is a cis woman, should have to take supplements because she has a higher natural testosterone level. I don't think that that's fair either. Why should Caster Semenya, why should trans women in sports be treated differently because they may or may not have slight advantages over their competition? Meanwhile, we hail Michael Phelps as some sort of god, you know? Why? Well, we could break his feet. We could surgically make his feet smaller. We could, shorten his torso. We could force him to take supplements that reduce his level of lactic acid, the way his body deals with lactic acid. These are things we could force people to do. But sports is not about leveling a completely even playing field for everybody. And it never has been. And to pretend that that is what sports are is really fucking weird to me. And especially when it's just when it comes to trans women and issues of trans women in sports. It's usually not about trans men. It's usually about trans women. It's usually about how they have some sort of inherent advantage because they went through a male puberty at one point, despite the fact that the medical consensus is that there is not a meaningful large difference between a trans woman's abilities and a cis woman's abilities. Now that can differ, for example, There was a story recently, I believe Blair White shared it around, of a weightlifting trans woman. She was a bodybuilder, and then she transitioned, and a lot of her muscle mass didn't disappear because she kept doing bodybuilding. But the issue was Blair White lied about her because Blair White said that this trans woman had been competing against women, which wasn't the case. Now, this is part of like this weird fear-mongering bullshit when it comes to sports. Trans women, in general, lose like the advantages they have over cis women. This is why trans women who compete in high-level sports and meet all the requirements tend to not overperform cis women. Notice how trans people aren't like dominating sports on like national levels when it comes to these things. Notice how that's not the case. Wouldn't you think that there would be many, many prominent trans athletes if they were being given a significant advantage over their cis counterparts? You would think that, but that doesn't actually play out in reality. Instead, we get cherry-picked examples of individual high schools where young trans people have been coming up and struggling to find their identity, and they want to participate in high school sports. And so they do. And in some of those examples, especially in the ones that tend to get cherry-picked by people who think that trans people participating in sports is just absolutely egregious and unfair because they kicked someone out of the top 5 in the state. You get these fear-mongering stories, and it's absolute bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Anyway, let's get back to this story about how this lady was so sad that she got beat in track and field.
Up early every Saturday morning and competing all day at a meet. It meant not indulging in any of the things that might cost me my dream.
By the way, this is like an anime villain's side story, right? Like this is the girl at the anime high school who's just like, you know, she's better than everyone. She threw aside all of her friends and her worldly likes in order to succeed at track and field, and now she's bitter that her that she was beaten by someone she considers inferior to her. That's basically what this story is so far.
And here's the thing about the 2 biological males that took the top 2
and also the insistence on referring to them as biological males is super duper transphobic. Super duper transphobic.
girls' medals in the state of Connecticut. Their times were not even good enough to qualify them to compete in the state championships on the boys' team. Let me say that again in case you missed it. Their times were not good enough to qualify them for the boys' state championships.
Better than your time, though. Better than your time, bitch. Better than your time, bitch. Hello, the Cobbs. Thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate that greatly. We're just talking about this transphobic young lady here. I hope you're having a great time. But this right here tosses up that stupid ass argument. Yeah, I mean, like, their times weren't good enough to succeed in the boys range, so they're clearly inferior. But also, I was slower than them, so I guess, yeah. Have a good night, DeCobbs. You get some rest, okay? You've been streaming a lot. As a Brit. Yeah, kind of looks like she has a black eye. Wait. Oh, that makes this less funny. Oh no.
But 2 years in a row, they won first and second place competing against the girls. All in all, these 2 biological males won 15 women's state championship titles.
Damn. Seems like maybe you needed to train more, lady.
Some in the media have accused me of being a sore loser.
Yep, yeah, it's definitely how you're coming across right now.
They tell me to run harder.
Yeah.
But the biological changes that males go through during puberty are so significant, they gain an insurmountable advantage in strength and in speed.
Question though, and this has been something that they have not yet stated in this video, which it doesn't state whether or not they were on HRT, which would be really, really important to understanding this story. And given that they haven't said this, and given that it's PragerU, I'm going to guess that I'm you know what? I'll look it up. I'll look it up. I'm sure there's a story about this. Okay. Um, let's see. What's her name again? Her name is Selena Sewell. All right, Selena Sewell. All right. Um, okay. Let's see. Who was she defeated by? Okay. Let's take a look. Let's see. Okay, we'll talk about this first, but I don't think it has any. No, that's not it. Wait. Okay. Here we go. Search and okay. Here we go.
Now to a GMA.
Here. All right. Let's take a look at this. All right. So, some Connecticut parents are petitioning to change the rules of state high school athletics after two transgender track and field stars began dominating girls' competitions. All right. Both 16 transgender school athletes, heated debate in the community, came in first and second place, respectively, in the 100-meter race. Top prize, 200-meter dash. Let's see. Every day I would go home, search up track and field, high school Terry Miller. Online backlash has been harsh. She decided the summer before 9th grade it would be more appropriate for her to run on the girls' team because she identifies as female. Both athletes have begun hormone therapy and said, for the most part, they've been welcomed by family, friends, coaches, administrators with open arms. Let's see. 2 petitions started attempt to change this. Transgender female. They have naturally testosterone within the body that has been proven to give physical advantages in sports. So, for those of you who don't know this, if you are on hormone replacement therapy as a transgender woman, literally part of your hormone regimen is taking a testosterone blocker, which basically drastically reduces the amount of testosterone that is absorbed into your body. So they don't have a naturally higher testosterone within their body. They don't get the advantages of that testosterone once they start hormone replacement therapy. Yeah. who did not know the girls were already taking the female hormones. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Rules surrounding transgender student athletes at the high school level vary from state to state. 7 states, students must either play on the team that matches their birth certificate, the team for which they have undergone gender reassignment surgery, or the one for which had extended hormone therapy. Medical research can't identify the line where competitive advantage may or may not exist for trans athletes for either gender. Yeah. All right, so that's where we're at with that story, at least as of 2 years ago. Let's take a look at this more recent story from this year. ACLU responded to a lawsuit filed yet today challenging trans-inclusive practices in Connecticut. Lawsuit has been filed against the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, multiple school boards, and specifically names Andrea Yearwood and Terry Miller, 2 transgender student athletes. The ACLU will be seeking to join this lawsuit and defend the interest of trans student athletes. Today's complaint filed in Connecticut targeting the inclusion of transgender girls in girls' athletics and specifically naming Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood is a dangerous distortion of both law and science in the service of excluding trans youth from public life. The purpose of high school athletics is to support inclusion, build social connection and teamwork, and help all students thrive and grow. Efforts to undermine Title IX by claiming it doesn't apply to a subset of girls will ultimately hurt all students and compromise the work of ending the long legacy of sex discrimination in sports. Additionally, the language of the complaint, which deliberately misgenders transgender youth and demands that high school student athletics be organized by chromosomes, yikes, is an assault on the basic dignity and humanity of transgender people and the threat to the privacy and equality of all students. Yeah, it's also a threat to the privacy and equality of all students. Yeah, absolutely. You guys want to go in and have your blood drawn and DNA examined in order to make sure your kids can participate in sports? That's wild. Absolutely wild. Oh no. Oh no, Icelandic Jesus, why? Why were you being transphobic? Sour Peppers, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. He said dumb shit. I wish people would stop being dumb in chat. Today has been, guys, I know a lot of you are new, and if you're enjoying this type of content and enjoying me get very heated, I suggest you hit that follow button because I cover this stuff on the regular. But also today has been super spicy. Got someone in my chat who got really upset when I tried to explain my positions on like gender abolitionism and stuff, and because men don't have testosterone levels equal to each other. Yeah, I mean Solaris TV. Yeah, like this is absolutely like some weird like blood draw level shenanigans to like split people up by testosterone levels. It's very weird because like even when it comes to like testosterone levels, there are also a number of other advantages or disadvantages based on your genetics. Like, sports has never been this perfectly even playing field, and we only seem to pretend like it is when it comes to trans people, specifically transgender women. Yeah, I mean, like, your dad has a condition where he doesn't even produce testosterone, but that doesn't make him, like, a woman. He's just your dad. Like, he's still a man. Yeah, this is absolutely bizarre to me. Realized I was gender questioning when I related so much with the phrase "down with the cis" and had to ask myself why I like that so much. Hell yeah, Legend of Alec. I hope you're finding yourself, you know? Yeah, also you can have like XY chromosomes and still be a man or still be a woman. Like literally your chromosomes don't necessarily determine what your biological gender is. There's a bunch of other things, biological sex, sorry. There are a bunch of different things that affect this. Um I'm glad you're in the process. Let's see. They're running commercials for on television for low T meds. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, people really think that this stuff matters, you know? Men have been told that they need to associate their masculinity with their testosterone levels. And so, like, both men and women both associate their, like, masculinity with testosterone, but, like, the understanding of the science among the general public is so bad that it's really kind of shocking. Um, all right. So, yeah, these two girls are, again, involved in a legal battle just to make sure that trans women can participate in sports. It's awful. Like, just let these women live their life. God damn. All right. So we've already proven that at the time of them winning these sports competitions, they were already on HRT. Um, Something that this video conveniently leaves out. We're only halfway done. Jeez. So basically, guys, this makes it seem like her story makes it seem like trans women have like this overwhelming advantage when it comes to strength and speed because they're really male. But that's not the case. Also, Swamp Goth, thank you very much for the follow. And Solaris TV, thank you also for the follow. Um, they have this strength and speed, but like the reality is like trans women, like once you're on hormones, especially if you're like in your teens, you relatively quickly lose your advantages of that are granted by testosterone, like the muscle growth and stuff. It actually reverses. It goes down. Why does this video look like video game customization? I don't know. I think you need to play better video games though, if that's what you think this looks like. Tale of Two Rabbit, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it very much.
In strength and in speed. That's why boys always competed against boys and girls against girls. US runner Allison Felix is an inspiration to me. She's the fastest female sprinter in the world. Her lifetime best for the 400 meters is 49.26 seconds. But based on 2018 data, nearly 300 high school boys in the US alone could beat that record. What we are talking about then is not just boys taking women.
How many trans women could beat that record though? That because we're not talking about boys, we're talking about trans women. How many trans women could beat that record? That's what we're talking about.
Women's trophies, though they are.
Wait, is this entire video just going to be framing trans women as men and that's why they're winning sports?
And we aren't talking about biological boys taking women's athletic scholarships, though they'll do that too. When biological boys are allowed to compete against girls in sports like track, where the differences in performance are so great.
Citation fucking needed. Citation fucking needed, guys. Like, notice this is just like, yeah, I mean, biological boys are allowed to compete against girls, and you know, they just perform so much better. But like, we're not talking about biological boys, we're talking about transgender women. PragerU is absolutely not an actual university. Honestly, they should be sued into the ground for portraying themselves as such. They are not an educational like institution whatsoever. They recently launched an educational like program, and it's really gross and weird. But yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, they never even cite, like, they sometimes source themselves within the video, but like, yeah, down here they don't cite anything. Oh, they posted the entire script. That's nice. But they, for the complete script, visit, okay, but none of this is citing any of their sources. Cool. The U stands for urinal. True. True. The Gravel Institute is educational. That is also true. Yeah, the video didn't say how fast they were. So, I'm going to guess they weren't faster than whoever this lady is. I'm going to guess that they didn't beat this time. Otherwise, I'm sure the lady would have cried about how they were also in this group of people who could run faster than her. All right.
In sports like track, where the differences in performance are so great, we are talking about girls getting shut out, never getting the chance to win or even compete at all.
Yeah, because that's what's happening right now, guys. Trans women across the country have begun to dominate all high school women's sports. It's true. Look it up. No cisgender women are winning high school sports anymore, guys. It's true. It's a coup. It's a coup by the transgender agenda. Okay? That cis women are being shut out everywhere. I'm sure in the entire country, this is exactly what is happening everywhere. If that's what was happening everywhere, guys, they would be giving citations. Instead, they have to give you these weird, like, predictive things that can't possibly be disproven because it's sometime in the future. Thanks, Nostradamus.
When two biological boys took the first and second place spots against me in the 2019
Transgender
Indoor
women.
State Championship, I lost the opportunity to participate at the New England Championships.
Damn. Should have been faster. There were other cis women who were faster than you. Oh yeah. Tale of Two Rabbit. Yeah, we covered that. Yeah, she's being propped up by a hate group. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll go over it one more time. She's being held up by what the Southern Poverty Law Center describes as an anti-LGBTQ hate group, who believe that being gay should be a crime, having sex with people of the same gender should be illegal, just a lot of pretty heinous things. Oh yeah, the homosexual agenda will destroy Christianity and society. They want people to discriminate on the basis of religion against LGBTQ people. They're a class act organization all around. Absolutely awful.
The chance to be scouted by top coaches.
Damn. Again, you should have been faster.
Possibly even to win scholarships. Right now, biological boys are being allowed to set records on the girls' team, deleting girls' records, erasing the achievements of actual girls, and setting a standard probably no girl can meet, no matter how much she trains or how hard she tries. The reason that we have girls' sports in the first place is to give female athletes with talent, hard work, and dedication an equal opportunity to shine and be recognized. But girls will never have that opportunity if they are forced to compete with biological boys in sports like track and field, softball, volleyball, or basketball. Women fought too hard.
Damn. If only we weren't talking about boys. Instead, we're talking about transgender women. So, like, none of this applies? Like, the science is different. The entire video is just her calling trans women men and blaming them for being, like, better athletes than she was. Alright. This is super cool, I guess.
for too long so girls like me can have the opportunity to compete on a level playing field. Maybe worst of all, when girls try to object, when we point out the truth that biological differences in strength and speed between boys and girls are massive and real, we're called bigots.
Yes, you are. Because you are bigots. Biological differences in strength and speed between this sign and this sign are massive and real. This is true unless you're talking about trans women or trans men or trans people in general. Hormones play a big role in this. Your puberty plays a big role in this. Obviously, you're literal fucking teenagers.
We're called bigots.
Yep. You're a member of a classified hate group, and you are your only argument in this video is that the people who beat you are men, and they're not. So, yeah.
Administrators, teachers, coaches, and other students tell us to just keep quiet and take it.
No, they tell you that transgender women are women, and that the women who you competed against were adhering to their policies. So, yeah. Get good, I guess. Should have upped the training time after school every day from 2 hours to 3 hours, I guess.
We are told a girl's place is to be seen and not heard. Well, we won't be silenced. We are fighting back. With 2 other top female runners in Connecticut, I have filed a federal lawsuit under Title IX to protect the rights of women and girls to a fair competition on a level playing field. Please don't turn your backs on us, America. This isn't about gender identity.
I mean, it sounds like it's about gender identity and like the biological reality that you're denying when talking about trans women. Good grief. Let's see. You know, I do find it funny, okay? Right? She spent the opening part of this video talking about how you know, she's had to sacrifice everything, like her time with her friends and everything, to become the greatest sprinter to ever sprint. And then there's also this profile of her. Let's see. Oh, God damn it. Why is my mouse not working? There we go. Away from track, I enjoy cooking as well as hanging out with my friends and my dog. I have also competed in figure skating for many years, and I'm currently a certified Learn to Skate USA instructor where I teach children basic skating skills. Sounds like those are things you could have given up to have a faster runtime, but you know, I guess you can blame it on trans women instead because you're a bigot. So I guess that's okay.
It's about fair play. I'm Selena Soul for Prager University.
This video was sponsored by Alliance Defending Freedom,
a hate group.